Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're diving into the Final Escape program with Life Together, Inc. We're joined by the Executive Director of Life Together, Inc., our good friend, Bishop David Allen Hall, Sr. And let's start out, Bishop. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Jeremy. God bless you. It's good to see you again.
Absolutely. So you've got a lot of good news to share. We're talking about the Final Escape program. And let's start, before we dive into the program, though, give us a little bit of background on Life Together, Inc., because this has been a nonprofit effort on your end that you've been working on for a long time. So give us some context, some history for Life Together, Inc.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Life Together, Inc. is the nonprofit, the 501c3 of my local congregation. And we wanted to approach the community not from the standpoint of our faith, but our faith in action. Life Together, Inc. Has been active on many fronts, such as athletics for youth, 12-step drug and alcohol programming, food programming, marriage counseling, and in a more or less social way. We've done everything that we could to be the public face and social action arm. And that's why Life Together has, I guess, now got a run of better than 20 years.
Talk about, on your end, the neighborhood you're in, what you've seen in terms of growth, developments, but also, too, your role as the neighbor, taking an active role in really being the force for good in your neighborhood. So talk about what you've seen with the neighborhood over time and your role in being a force for good.
Well, our neighborhood, to identify it historically, was the site of near downtown South Memphis, where the now gone housing projects, the Foot and Clearborn Homes housing projects, were situated. It is now South City, where there has been a massive renovation of the area. At the time that we began the Life Together, that area was a social laboratory for crime, drug abuse, missed opportunity, and really the urban misery that we know can be accentuated day to day in large cities. But a lot of great people have come out of there. A lot of people have struggled and put life together. And they have accomplished tremendous things. And so we got into it at the time of the crack epidemic. The epidemic was induced by a gang rivalry. People were selling that stuff all around, and there were rival gangs here and there. And so the Foot and Clearborn Home housing projects, that was the marketplace. And so that meant there was a lot of violence at times. So we got active with athletics, basketball, baseball, even ran a couple golf clinics and tennis clinics. We got active with the 12-step drug and alcohol program. We got activated again with the Citizens Against Gangs, Guns, Drugs, and Violence. And we said, take the pledge, stay away from all of it. So it was an active, a very aggressive pursuit by a local congregation to go out and socially say this: there is a better way, and we want to have with you life together. And of course, that's the old Dietrich Bonhoeffer book that Bonhoeffer wrote in his last days when he was under the threat of Hitler and Nazi Germany. He was one of the people that I like to think saved humanity with his struggle, against Nazi tyranny. And when I was working on my doctorate degree, it was one of the texts that I used to undergird some of my writings. So it just stuck with me. Life Together.
I'm glad you gave that illustration, because that's what I was going to ask you is, the name Life Together is talk about where it came from. So that's good. You've already covered that.
Oh.
Give us a little background, because now you're stepping into this new adventure with the Final Escape program and working with those who have faced incarceration. So talk about the genesis of the Final Escape program.
Okay, well, Final Escape was born out of the local church's prison ministry. I'm a firm believer that the faith that we have at Temple Church of God in Christ is the focal point, our raison d'etre, the reason to be for sure. We believe in what we do religiously. But then with us being in the prison, I thought about something. Dealing with people in prison is one thing, but their re-emergence back into society, there are many complex issues that those once incarcerated persons have. And if they're going to successfully go back into society and turn life around, re-emerge in society with their family, building their credibility, starting over again, then we need to be there. And so the 501c3 serves anybody and everybody. I don't care. Right now, the program has initiated with those persons in Jail East, women, and at 201 Poplar with the men downtown. And we have done certain things to prepare them for their exit and reentry into society. Now, that's how it got started, that we wanted to do more than just bring them a good word, but to aggressively, socially, mentally, in a sense of reinstituting them back into society with family, etc. We want to give them the necessary, essential means to do that, plus supplement their lives with things that we take for granted. I mean, when someone's getting out of jail and he or she's got a job interview, it'd be nice to make certain that as they've gone back home and they get prepared for that, that they have the necessary toiletries, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, those type of amenities that would freshen, make their appearance right, clothing, shoes, then even to have someone to sit and to talk with, to build their mindset on what it means to be aggressive in terms of gaining a person's attention and saying, I'm serious, I want to be employed, I do bring something and here it is. We want to accentuate the positive as they reemerge and try to stabilize life. That's what the Final Escape program is about, getting out and staying out. And that's what we want to do.
Give me one or two things that you think are the secret sauce to success, because as you mentioned, there's a lot that goes into really supporting someone. And it's the things like the toiletries and the clothing and those, but it's also too the mentorship and creating that support network so that if something goes wrong, they immediately have someone that they can turn to help keep them on the right track. And so there's a lot that goes into creating success, but give me one or two things that you think are the secret sauce on your end.
Sure. The Final Escape, education is one thing. D'Amico Booth, who wrote the book, Getting Out and Staying Out, is one of our main pieces of our curriculum. We tell them in an interrelational way, we want you to be able to make the shot. I use this motif. If you're a basketball player with 5 seconds on the clock, you shoot the ball and the ball comes back in a deep rebound. Now you've got 3 seconds. What are you going to do? Are you going to pass the ball, dribble it out, get frayed, lose the game because of inactivity? What are you going to do? No, you're going to take the shot. Now, we want to enable these people, these persons, men and women, once incarcerated, to be able to take that shot. That means that we provide a bus fare to get them to the job. Yesterday, I was with one of the well-known companies in this town. I can say their name. Everybody knows FedEx. Where we're working with FedEx, trying to prepare people for possible employment. And whatever we have to do on our end to get them there. And FedEx got a tremendous program that they're working to try to get people who need to come back and reemerge in society and make a success out of life. Man, I thank God for the people that I have talked to at FedEx. They've made me feel, so very much encouraged, because it is about that personal contact, that personal commitment to people, giving them that sober preparation so that they can step into the world and say, okay, I've had my issues, but now I've turned that leaf. I'm ready to reemerge better than ever. I'm prepared to take that shot. And that means that if I have to do a social retooling, a a mental retooling, a spiritual retooling, if I've got to re-educate and reform some things, well, Final Escape is here to help me, because why? I got out and I'm never going back again. Getting out and staying out. And our director of the program, Ms. Yvonne Williams, is a long-term prison ministry person that has worked for years in the penal institutions, around the county, etc. But on this front right here, we are not doing the preaching. We are doing the actual physical related work, working with them. Hey, you got that job interview? Come by the place. And we just open up our new place. I hope we can talk about that at the Freedom House at 588 Vance Avenue. But we want to get them in there, whether we could then reorder the process in their life, give them more curriculum, challenge them to use the curriculum base that we've tried to train and discipline them with, and to say, now, this is the person that's going to get the job. You're the person who got out. You're going to take the shot. So we do a number of things like that.
What would you want everyone to know, the public, about the men and women that you're working with through the Final Escape program?
Sure. What I like them to know is this, is that they are people who accept the grace of God, go you and I. That's the first thing. They are people. They need this break. And we're not trying to overcompensate for their past. No, they've got to do that themselves. They must find that inside. And I want people who are out there looking at them to know that they need this break, but also we need to encourage their discipline in life. We need to encourage that new thought, that newfound power that maybe they didn't have or did not cultivate to make this thing work. And so we want to strengthen their lives, strengthen them so that their well-being will be accentuated to themselves first and to those who are around them. And for me, those are the things that the Final Escape program will offer them. And those public officials who gave us money from the county commission, they believed in the principles. I got to commend the fact that Memphis and county government, our county commission and commissioners, and in particular, I want to call the name of Commissioner Laurie, who was kind of like the guy who put his arm around and said, hey, come on, listen, I've got groups who are asking for money and yours is worthy. Let's see if we can do something as you impact the community, and the county wants to be a part of this, because you've been there a long time. And they told me, Bishop, you've been there a long time doing these things, and we want to help you this time. So that's what I want the people to know and sincerely understand why we're doing it and the way we're doing it.
So how can the community help you? How can we help Life Together, Inc. and also the Final Escape program?
Well, Life Together, Inc., the first part, I want people to know and understand that the church has a broader perspective than merely those of the congregation. That is beautiful. And without that, we wouldn't exist. But also that there is that social dimension that has to be addressed. And Life Together is there to address that social dimension. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter. Male, female, political, liberal, conservative, I don't care. You are part of society and we're there to serve. Next thing for Final Escape, I want them to know that people have a right to have a chance. And the Final Escape says, close this door and emerge through another one. Let that be the thing. And so people need to say, if a Final Escape person asks for a job, smoke them out, look them up and down, talk to them. Let me go by the facility and look at the facility and see just some of the things that you've got going through and that you've been through. And I think that it would be in evidence clearly that this is not a superficial effort, but this thing runs very, very deep. And I would hope that people would take their time to know and to realize that we've done some very credible things to help people go forward. If they believe in us and can assist us, I'm ready to hear and to have that conversation. I really am. Today, in fact.
Absolutely. Wrap up with contact information. So where does everyone go to learn more about Life Together, Inc. and the Final Escape program?
Sure. Let me tell you that the Final Escape program is located at 588 Vance Avenue in the Freedom House, which is a historic NAACP building. We have Suite 200, which is the upstairs. And if you can't make it there, you may reach us at 901 for, I know this broadcast, this live stream goes out, 901-425-5972. 425-5972. But then if you want to look us over, go to www.lifetogethermemphis.org. www.lifetogethermemphis.org. And you'll be able to ascertain by just looking at the various pictures, the various themes that we're doing, etc., just what this program does. And quite frankly, I think that you'll be very pleased having done so.
Absolutely. Well, Bishop, greatly appreciate all you and your team do. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. You're socially active. You're everywhere. You're the guy that's got the energy. and I appreciate the opportunity. Okay.
Always trying to help and power the good, which is exactly what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.